Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences.
Hey everybody, good evening. I'm not sure how many of the everybody's there are that's here, but good evening everyone. This is Sandra Sheffer, host of Race of the Races. I wasn't here last week because I had the most amazing opportunity to be at the DNC 2024. And when I'm telling you that was a historic moment and like an amazing opportunity, it absolutely was. And for the first time, I wasn't in town on election day. However, don't get it twisted, I voted early. That's like one of the beauties and the benefits of early voting is that I was able to vote early before I had to travel, and then I had an opportunity to go to the DNC. I did do a quick live telling people like make sure y'all go out and vote, and turns out the voter turnout was extremely low. What's that about, y'all? So, but we have another chance. We have another chance November the 5th. So I need everybody to make sure you get registered. Make sure you get registered to vote. Tell those young folks, the students, all the people that's going to turn 18 before November the 5th that they can go ahead and register to vote so they'll be able to vote on election day, because it's really important. We need a great turnout in order for us to restore democracy in this country. So I see Chris Cantor's here. How you doing? Chris Cantor is one of the individuals that ran for that school board seat 1. I know it wasn't the outcome that he was looking for. Hopefully he'll still have some sort of opportunity. And I know he's going to continue to serve the students in the community of Broward County because he's just that type of person. He's on the board of the Grand United PTA that serves District 5. So I know he's going to continue to do that good work. There are going to be opportunities in 26 for some people to run because I think the other 4 seats are up in 2026. So we'll see. There'll be an at-large seat that's going to be up that, hopefully doesn't go uncontested. I believe seats 6 and 7 will also be up in 26. So, if y'all want to start running, think about it, start putting in that work right now. Go into these communities now, raise up your name ID, start putting in the effort, to get those seats right now. Don't wait until, the last day to register in June. And then now you only got like 2 months to put on, one of these races. Start building that network in the community, start doing things and put your hat in the ring. And the reason why I say that is I'm not surprised by the outcome of what happened in the school board race. I'm gonna talk about that one first because I had a lot to say about it before it happened, and I'm not surprised by the outcome, but I'm really disappointed because I think it was an opportunity to really do some things that are different, and so I'm disappointed because I think we had an opportunity to do some things that are different that would have really brought the district forward. And then the other thing is that I'm actually very afraid because I believe with the board that we have right now, they're gonna be selling all them black schools. I'm just telling you, like, that's how I feel. And this is one of those times where I really want them to prove me wrong. Just be like, you know what, Sandra, you over there running your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna be equitable in what we're doing in terms of like the schools that we're gonna have to close and the schools that we're gonna have to improve. We're gonna be equitable in doing that. And I want y'all to prove me wrong and not let my fears come to reality that you guys are, folks are just going to end up selling all those black schools, the schools in those black neighborhoods, regardless of the fact that they don't fall into that low enrollment criteria, because there was a school that didn't have low enrollment that was on the list. And, I really just hope that this is not what this board is going to do. I really hope that's not what this board is going to do. And I know another thing that came out after that election was people were very surprised that, I don't know, some people were surprised, most people were surprised that Daniel Fogelholly probably came out the winner and all of that, right? He lost that seat, and now he got appointed to the Department of Education, where he's going to be overseeing like some of the things that's going to be happening in Broward County and counties throughout the state. So he may have lost that race, but Mr. Man might have been the real winner in all of that, because he's in a position that's even that has more, the ability to have more impact than being on the school board in Broward County would have been. Now, some people who, particularly those that weren't supporting him, may think that that's a bad, that's worse. Who knows? But for him, it's a win, right? Because he absolutely leveled up, getting that appointment. Now, what Tori Alston's gonna do after November, that I haven't heard, unless there was some news that came out within the last few hours. I don't know what his next, what he's gonna do next. And then everybody else was reelected. I hope Jeff Holness, Debbie Hickson in particular, and Sarah Leonardi heard some of what was being said about them, and that they really make an effort to be more equitable in what it is that they're doing. And they really start having concern for, the students in the district, people of color that's in the district, and they just do some better work, and not the things that they were saying before August 20th. They continue to, do good work, and not just had made enough promises or said enough in order for them to get elected, and then they're going to go back and not do the work of the community, right? Because the students deserve better. And yes, Broward County School is an A district, but I heard that's on a real thin thread. And if they don't continue improving, or if they have one setback, that it will no longer be an A district. So we need people that's committed to that work, and that's going to continue to go ahead and do that, right? So that's where I'm at with the school board. Like I said, I was a little disappointed because I think it was time for some change. So I think we're back to a board where there's only one person of color that's on that board. That's Jeff Holness. And then, we have a lot of ladies on the board again. There was one time it was 5 guys, 4 women. Now we're back to there 7 women on the board. And again, let's just hope that they really do what's in the best interest of the students. That's that. Just hopefully all the things that y'all said weren't just campaign promises, and you're really interested in doing what's best for the community. And please prove me wrong that all the Black schools are going to get sold in the next 2 years or so. Because the whole idea that if these schools are sold, that it's going to be in the best interest of people in the community and students of color in that area, that's not true at all. And there's no way that can be the outcome if that happens, because those investors are in the business of making money, and worried about school children isn't making money for them. And so I just see that they're turning those communities into places where the people that are living there right now won't be able to afford to stay. And it's just going to continue to move folks out of that neighborhood. So let's, folks who want to see things different, continue that pressure, keep going to the board meetings, keep your concerns, email them. You can just go to browardschools.com there, and you can send them an email, go into the meetings, talk, and keep that pressure on for them to do what's right and what's equitable and what's best for the students in Broward County. I didn't get to watch all of the workshop from yesterday, but I know they were talking about the focus program that was just launched. And, there were some problems, and there is some problems, but I heard that they were very nice to that team. Even though there were some issues going on, they were very nice to that team. And then I heard, some other folks came up to speak, trying to talk about some difficulties, and they weren't so nice. And, please, y'all, please, board members, try to do better, just try to do better and be equitable and humanize everybody, treat everybody with kindness. Don't pick and choose who you want to treat that way, and y'all probably won't have to hear me say nothing else about it, right? All right, so there were some judge races that happened. I might come back to the school board, but that's all I want to say about that for now. Is that there's still, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that plays out. All right. And then the judge races. I'm sad that Tamar Hamilton wasn't able to win that seat. I think she put on a really good campaign. And so hopefully she doesn't give up and she tries again in the next couple of years, because I think she will really be a good judge. Stephanie Moon was able to keep her seat, which I think is great, because the person who was running against her was running for all the wrong reasons. He was running for reasons that ain't make no sense, right? And that's the last thing we need, is somebody that's running for reasons that don't make no sense and getting on the bench, and that ain't even where their heart is, right? So I'm glad she was able to keep her position. The rest of the races, I knew Woody, but I think he was running into some issues because he might have been part of the Federalist Society or something like that, and folks don't always tend to like that. I thought Emilio had a better chance of winning just because he had been in the community for such a long time. But that wasn't the outcome. So that's it. Mara was able to win her seat because she got her 50+1 or 51% of the vote. So there's no runoff in that race. And then everybody else, I mean, they were like 70-30 splits. So those other individuals, and then there were only 2 people in those races anyway. So, and there were nonpartisan seats, so it wasn't going to go past August, but they did win their seats in a good way. So Debbie Murkisall Powell, she's going to be on the Democratic side for the U.S. Senate, going against Rick Scott. I hope she reached out to the other individuals who ran against her and working on getting their endorsement and their support, because if there's anybody who needs to leave the Senate, Rick Scott is that person. So hopefully she reached out to the other folks that ran against her, get their support so she can get their voters to go ahead and help her win the Senate seat in the state of Florida. So put in that work. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she run. I know Jen Perlman. Jen Perlman has done the show with me several times. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was she got her seat back. And the other thing, I also saw her at the DNC. So she was also in Chicago at the DNC, and I'll talk about that experience in a little bit. Before she went to Chicago, they had Souls for the Polls on August the 18th. And she participated in that. And so that was a good thing. So I'm glad folks did that. However, I still, we need to figure out a way to increase voter turnout. So Debbie won her seat. Darryl won his congressional seat. Barbara Sharif, not congressional seat. He's going back to as a state rep. Barbara Sharif won against Chad Glissman, and I think somebody named Rodney. Rodney, don't get me, I don't remember his last name. So Barbara Sharif finally won a state Senate seat. Very proud of her for doing that work. I remember when she was running for commission seats in Miramar, she used to have the magnets on the side of her car when I moved into the neighborhood. So I've known her name before I actually knew her as a person. And so she's going to the state Senate. I believe she's going to do very good work when she gets there. So I'm happy to see that, and that's a good thing. I don't know. I might be, and there was Miami-Dade had some initiatives on their ballot. I think those are the only ones that I could think of that happened on Broward. But what I want to press upon everyone is that we definitely need to increase voter turnout. And even before we do that, we need to increase voter registration. So we got to get people to register to vote in order for them to be able to vote on November the 5th. I even found that one of my family members, I sent them, I was like, listen, you got to go vote today. And they went there and they weren't registered to vote. And so that meant that whole house wasn't registered to vote. I was like, how'd that happen, right? So I was even slipping, right? And I know I have to do better. So now every time I talk to people, be like, you're a citizen? Yep. You registered to vote? If not, get on the phone and do it right now. So that is going to be my ask. That's my call to action for the next 69, 68 days. Actually less than that, because I think you got to do it 30 days before. So the next 50 days, my call to action is for you to encourage everybody you know to register to vote. Now, I'm not sure how much the Democratic Party thinks Florida is at play, because them delegates that went to Chicago from Florida, they didn't have the best seats in the House, but at least they were in the House, because if there was any place to be last week, Chicago was absolutely the place to be. When I tell you, that was like, I have absolutely no regrets of, well, I do have one regret. I should have bought some better shoes with me, right? I ended up having to buy a pair of gym shoes while I was there, because, they was like, bring your Chucks, bring your Chucks. Chucks are not meant. And I ain't talking bad about you, Converse, but I am talking bad about you, Converse. Those shoes are not for you to be on your feet for no 12 to 15 hours a day walking up and down. That is not the ministry of those shoes. So I made the mistake of only bringing Chucks and not my walking shoes. So I ended up having to go buy a different pair. Once that got solved, then the experience was, it left it. Like I said, I cannot describe how amazing and incredible it was to be in that room, to see all the energy. And I hope everybody that was there took the momentum from the conference, and they're taking it back home, and it's encouraging them to get people to register, get people to vote, get people to donate, and really make this happen. Because there was a couple things that was happening while I was going with, number 45, and he out there talking about he better looking at Kamala. I'm like, man, that's what you want to talk about? All the things that's going on right now? My mother went to the store yesterday and was like, how much this juice costs, and didn't buy it because it was so expensive. But this guy who's trying to be president is worried about whether or not he's better looking than a woman. Okay, so, I don't think it's really a competition out there, but I do know that there's some people who are going to support him regardless. And there's some people who they're like single issue folks, and they're going to use that as a reason, excuse, justification, whatever you call it, to vote for somebody who I'm not sure can even vote for themselves to be president of the United States. But because of that, I need everybody else to put in that work, encourage people to register to vote, encourage people to vote, because we need to take this home. Like, this is, when I tell you, I think since 2000, I've been saying, like, this election is about life and death, vote or die. Okay, I didn't mean to bring up Sean Puff Daddy Combs, but in 2000, he had a shirt that said vote or die, because, we were like trying not to make Bush be president. He ended up being the president anyway. And so it seemed like every cycle we're talking about how important it is for us to vote, because democracy's on the table. We need to, Biden's thing was that we're fighting for the soul of our nation. We are truly in that position right now. Like, we really cannot turn the country over to a person that tried to have an attempted coup on the United States. And imagine this time, he can't run again, right? He wouldn't be able to run again. So how you gonna get him to leave? He didn't want to leave the last time. He couldn't even stand to stay and wait for the other president to come in. I don't even know if that ever happened before, where the former president left before the next president was inaugurated, right? So this is not the person that we can put back in office. And then particularly with the decision that the Supreme Court just made, that basically said no matter what he do as president, he can't be prosecuted. The man's already been convicted of 34 felonies, whether you think he should have been or not, right? Whether you think he should have been or not. The reality is that he is. And because we understand that he has no bottom, he has no limits, whatever he does as president, there will be no consequence. You can't give that man that much power. At least for me, I don't see how you can give that individual that much power, who's shown you time and time again that he is all about abusing his power, and he has no regrets, no shame, no nothing about doing it. He'll do it. So we really have to put in this work to make sure that he doesn't get reelected. but I was actually talking about the DNC and the amazing experience that it was. So, but I was bringing that up because I was talking about Florida. So people are, I think the party is concerned. And when I say the party, I'm talking about the Democratic Party is concerned that Florida is not going to be able to deliver on anything. Like they're not going to deliver the state to Kamala. They're not going to deliver a senator from the state, which I hope they're able to do both of those things. I think the possibility is there if the work is put in and if the party invests in this state to assist people in doing this work. I think that's a possibility. But the other thing that I want to tell folks to do is, like, if you are one of those people who don't believe Florida is at play, that doesn't mean that you can't help, because there are several battleground states that also need volunteers. They have postcard campaigns that you can be a part of. There's some trainings. I'll put the links in. The links are on the Race and the Racist page, but if they're not, I will definitely add them. There's the ability to volunteer to be part of a texting program. They set you up and you can sit with your phone and send text messages to encourage people to vote in different states. That don't take a lot of time. You can do phone calls, and you can actually make them phone calls from wherever you are, and it's not your number that's going to show up. They have, like, whatever the system is, it'll automatically dial folks. You can call folks and encourage them to go ahead and register to vote and to vote. So you can do postcards, you can send text messages, you can call. Even though you're a resident of the state of Florida, you can do that for some of the battleground states: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina. You can do that. So find a way to get involved, find a way to do something, right? Now, if you're local and you're also one of those people that believe that we can actually take this state, canvas, right? That talking to people and knocking on doors, it ain't as hot. It might be raining because, we still in hurricane season and all, but get a raincoat, get some rain boots. I got some cool UGG rain boots. Get some rain boots, get a raincoat. Go out there and canvas for the candidates that you support, canvas for Kamala and Tim Walz, right? Go ahead and do it, because we really, this is important. We can do it, and you don't have to put in a lot of time. And let me tell you, with the text messaging, if while you're sitting waiting in between appointments, you can sit there and you could probably send out like 10,000 text messages in like 30 minutes. Right? So do that. Find some time, agree to volunteer like 1 hour a week, 30 minutes a week, whatever it is, but put in some time and do something, because I think we can actually pull this off. We can actually do it. And not only that we can, it's absolutely what we need to do. There's so many ways to get engaged. And if you need some inspiration, there are all kind of calls, no matter who you are. I mean, now they got the pastors for Kamala, Black women for Kamala, dudes for Kamala, white women for Catholics for Kamala, nurses for Kamala, everybody for Kamala. You could pick your tribe, be a part of it, get there and put in some of this work. Send out postcards, send out text messages, make phone calls, canvas if you're local, do something. Talk to your family, have these conversations with your relatives. Some of them might be tough, but start with your family, call all of them, go through your phone. Like, I ain't even going to admit how many contacts I have in my phone, but go through your phone and be like, are you registered to vote? Did you register to vote? I mean, just if you don't want to talk to no strangers, talk to the people whose phone numbers are in your phone and ask them if they're registered to vote and tell them to go ahead and vote. We also need to focus on the non-party affiliates, the people that are MPAs, because let me tell you, my brother's an MPA. I don't think he ever voted for a Republican. He leans Democrat, but he just doesn't want to be he ain't registering as part of the party. Hey, whatever, right? So talk to your friends that are non-party affiliates, because they can vote for whoever, and they can, but I don't want them to vote for whoever in terms of, I know who I want them to vote for, but talk to them too. And at least tell them, don't give up on the process. Don't give up on this democracy. Go ahead and vote, register to vote, and go ahead and vote. And let me tell you why I believe so much in America, right? Listen, I'm the child. I always say I'm the child of immigrants, but I'm an immigrant myself. Like, my parents made sacrifices, left their home country, went to the Bahamas first, had 4 to 5 children, and then came to the United States because they wanted better for their kids, right? I grew up in the Little Haiti neighborhood of Miami-Dade County. And let me tell you, I was in the room with Kamala Harris, who is the current vice president of the United States, and the governor, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. I was in the room with them. Okay. Imagine my parents left Haiti, went to the Bahamas, came to the United States for their children to do better. And myself was in a room with those people. That's the greatness of America, right? Don't let them tell you all these stories about these bad hombres and all these terrible things about immigrant. That's not true. That's not even like a significant in terms of them being bad hombres and people that are here doing crime and terrible things. That is not very representative or indicative of the immigrant population. Now, I could get into, and let's not get into this whole black job conversation, just not yet. But what I'm telling you is this country is great. I am grateful for every opportunity that America has given me. And I'm telling you, I'm a person from Little Haiti, 305 all day, went to all the hood high schools, okay? And I managed to be in a room with the Vice President of the United States of America, along with the governor of the state of Minnesota. And I got proof of that. I got pictures. I took pictures with him. Governor Tim Walz. I was scared to mess with Kamala. It was too much Secret Service. It was too many dudes with some big old guns, and I didn't want to be that news story, right? But the point that I want to make is I'm just telling you how amazing this country is and how amazing it can be, despite all of that. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as what Nikki what's her name? Nikki Haley said, talking about there's no racism in America. I'm not gonna do that because I experienced that there. I was like, is this because I'm black? And then I got benefits because I was black, because I also got to take pictures with Young Jock and Lil Jon, right? And that was partly because they were ahead of me and I was just another black person behind a group of black people, and they went in. But I did have passes, I did have access passes to actually follow them, but they didn't stop me to make me, they didn't bother me. So there was, I'm not going to go as far as what Nikki Haley says, but I'm just telling you, this country does allow you that if you put in the work, you can have certain opportunities. Again, I probably could have done a whole lot more if I wasn't who I am. But I'm just saying, me being who I am, I have been able to do a lot of great and amazing things in this country. And that's really what this country is about. And we need to continue to have that space exist, that if people are putting in the work, they can get the benefit from the work that they're putting in, right? And the way to continue that is to have somebody like Tim Walz and Kamala Harris become president and vice president of the United States. And I have to tell you, the conversation that I had with Tim Walz, I didn't even initiate that conversation. He saw me sitting there and I was like, oh my God, because I guess he could see this girl was like, she can't believe she's in this room. And he came over there and he spoke to me, and we talked about our children, because I have a daughter that's neurodivergent, that's on the autism spectrum. And we all fell in love with Gus that night. We fell in love with his son. Talking about like, I love you, Dad. We all fell. So Gus got a new auntie. He got a whole bunch of aunties in the streets. So we connected on that level. And we need people in office that understand that. When we're talking about everyday American stuff, we need people to know like how regular folks be living, and I think that ticket is the ticket, instead of the guy who's talking about, oh, if you over 30 and don't got no kids, something wrong with you, you just gonna be a single cat lady and all of that type of stuff. We don't need that. We don't need someone we don't need the people with the top 2 jobs in the United States to be in these streets insulting people. Like, that's not what this country should be. It's not what it should be. That's not where we need to be right now. We don't need to be in that space where we have people with the top 2 jobs are out here insulting folks, right? We want people who are going to try to work and make the country better and continue to have us move in the right direction. So DNC owes me nothing. I got the opportunity to meet. What I was doing there was like, I was a speaker tracker. So some of the people that you saw that was on the stage, there were a whole bunch of volunteers. We were all, sometimes it was one of us, or usually 2 of us that were responsible for making sure that person was where they needed to be. If they needed to be in hair and makeup, if they needed to be in the green room, if they needed to be, in a speaker room going over their speech, and we needed to know where they were at all time so they could be on the stage and where they were supposed to be at the right time, right? On time, because it is a production. Like, they have schedules. I know that first night went kind of long, but so we were tracking speakers. So I had the opportunity to track Grace Meng. She was out of New York. However, she was supposed to speak on Monday, but just like y'all know that James Taylor got booted, she got booted, Wasserman Schultz got booted, but they were all, south of James Taylor, Grace Meng and Debbie Wasserman show we put back on the schedule, and they were able to speak on Wednesday. So I was tracking her. I was tracking Mayor John Giles. He's actually a Republican mayor out of Mesa, Arizona. So imagine at the convention, we had Republicans that came in to say, listen, I'm a Republican, but 45 ain't it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't 1, 2, 3. It was a bunch of them that came there and said it. And even one, I think she was Melania's chief of staff spoke, and she was talking about how she's like, listen, can you go tell these January 6 people to like not do what they're doing? And Melania's response was no. Those are not the people that we want to have with the top jobs in the United States. Okay. So I got an opportunity to track him. Again, his politics are different, but he's like, at the end of the day, we got to do what's the right thing to do, right? And then finally, it was a couple folks in between, but the other more notable person was I got to track Colin Allred. He's actually running for U.S. Senate against Ted Cruz. And come on, Texas, I know y'all ain't going to send Ted Cruz back to the Senate. Remember when it was cold in Texas and y'all ain't had no heat, no nothing, and then y'all ended up with $7,000, $8,000, $15,000 electricity bills because Texas got some weird way in how they do their electricity, right? And then he was trying to go to Mexico so he don't stay in frozen Texas that had no electricity. But then when he got called out on it, he was blaming his kids, he was blaming his wife, he was blaming everybody but himself. That's not the guy that you want to send to the U.S. Senate. So I really need y'all to go ahead and work on send whatever to Colin Allred's campaign. Encourage all of your people who are in Texas to go ahead and vote for him. I think it's definitely a winnable seat. He's a really good guy. He spoke on Thursday night, so you can go and check out his speech. I think he was a football player out of Baylor. He's an attorney now, and he's currently in the House out of the state of Texas. So definitely, so I got to track those individuals. So for those who wanted to know how I got so close to the stage, that's how I got so close to the stage, because I was tracking speakers, and as part of that, we got backstage passes and podium passes, and so I was in the room. I saw Lady O, got to see Oprah, Obama, Michelle. I didn't get to see Clinton like in person or anything. Well, I saw him because I was in the room listening to his speech, but I didn't get to see him backstage. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Maxwell Frost was there. I think he also spoke on Thursday night. I've met him before in Orlando, so it was a dynamic experience. We have some really good Democrats that are in office right now that's trying to get in office. We need to send them back, add some new ones, and definitely make sure the top of the ticket is Democratic as of November 5th, 2024. I don't see it being a smooth process, just because 45 has already said that if he loses, he ain't gonna believe it. But we know he needs to lose. He gonna lose, because we're gonna continue to make this country the great place that it is, right? So that's all I wanted to say. That's all I want. I didn't want to take up too much time today, but I definitely wanted to I want to give a special shout out and a thank you to the people that helped me get to the Democratic National Convention 2024. Because one of the things that I started doing is like I fundraise, and so people didn't give me permission to call it to say their names, but thank you for everyone that donated to me being able to go there. And part of the reason why I do it too is because I need to get in the habit of fundraising, because at some point I want to manage campaigns. So I gotta be not scared to ask nobody for money, because that's what we got to do. So I was able to fundraise the cost of me going there. So thank you so much to everybody that donated and made that happen. And so with that ask, I want all of y'all to figure out a way to make some donations, even if it's with your time, your talent, your treasure, to the people that are running for office. Now, and I'm going to ask y'all to give up, some of that Starbucks money. Right? Like, you ain't got to buy the coffee every day. And I'm gonna give you a reason why you shouldn't. So the Starbucks CEO just got a job that's 1,000 miles away from where it is that he lives, right? So Mr. Man is gonna get on a jet 3 times a week and fly 1,000 miles. Okay, so if that man could afford to do that, y'all, he don't need your $5 every day for coffee. You can use that $5, give it to one of the down ballot candidates, give it to top of the ticket. I mean, I know Kamala them got a lot of money, but it's expensive to run. You know what I'm saying? And the guy who's flying 1,000 miles on a private jet, 3 times a week to go do whatever, he don't need your $5 every day. So I'm gonna need you to go ahead, go get a Keurig cup or go spend $1 at the gas station and send that other $4 to somebody that's running, that you believe in and that you support, and put in this work to get Democratic folks elected, so America can continue to be the great country that it is. Because I am the American dream. I'm telling you, and I don't take it for granted. I'm absolutely a representative of all the great things America can be, and I'm the American dream, and I believe it. And the things that I'm telling you to do are not things that I'm not doing myself. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to get out the vote. You're about to call all your friends, call all your relatives, call all the people that's in your phone. You're going to go online and find out how you can join a texting program, a postcard program, making phone calls. If locally you want to canvass, just block out 2 hours one Saturday. Anything you do is going to be helpful and beneficial. And I truly, truly encourage you to be supportive and be engaged and help us win November the 5th, 2024, right? We got to keep this amazing work going on. And next time I'll talk more policy stuff. But again, thank you for your time, and I will see you all next Wednesday.
Elections have consequences.